In preparation for the major cinematic event, which is Avengers Endgame, some fans have gone back and revisited the entire MCU archives. But if you don't have the hours upon hours to do so, or you're just not that great at time management, don't worry. Your pals here at CBR are going to help you out by filling you in on everything you need to know as we head into Avengers Endgame. Even if you've managed to find the time to marathon all of the existing Marvel movies, you might have missed a few things from the latest trailer. One particularly interesting point was that things seemed to be good between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers again. Things got bad between the two of them in Captain America Civil War, back when Peter Parker was just a young spiderling. But for Marvel fans, there was no doubt they'd patch things up, especially since Steve gave Tony an adorably out-of-date cell phone at the end of the movie. In the latest trailer, it looks like these two are pals again, revisiting an important moment in the MCU's history. In the trailer, we see Iron Man flying over Manhattan, and a scene with Tony and Steve seemingly at the Battle of New York. But Tony's blonde highlights, as well as some set photos showing the Avengers assembled, make it seem as though our heroes have gone back in time. Why the Battle of New York? Well, one major reason is that it would put our heroes near 3 of the Infinity Stones. During that fight, Loki had the Mind Stone contained within his Chitauri scepter. Loki also had access to the Tesseract containing the Space Stone, which he used to open up a portal. Although he didn't know it when the Avengers came out in 2012, the Time Stone was also accessible from that point in time via the Sanctum Sanctorum. And speaking of the Infinity Stones, let's not forget what happened to the Mind Stone during Avengers Infinity War. No, we aren't talking about the tragic moment it exploded in Vision's head, or that other tragic moment when it exploded in Vision's head. Before both of Vision's unfortunate fates, Shuri was trying to figure out a way to separate him from the Mind Stone, and prior to Wakanda being attacked by Thanos' Black Order, she got incredibly close. Her procedure seemed close to being finished the last we saw, and it's a possibility that some version of Vision does indeed live on, and we'll see him again during Endgame. Sadly, it looks like the same can't be said for Shuri. During one trailer, her image was among those of other characters who perished in the decimation, including Peter Parker and Scott Lang. Oh wait, except for the fact that Scott Lang showed up totally fine in the first Avengers trailer despite being seemingly trapped in the quantum realm at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Aha! Could this mean that Shuri managed to survive? Well, she's marked out on her promotional poster, so probably not. But is it possible that what she was working on managed to survive? As excited as we were to see Ant-Man make an appearance, we don't think we're alone in saying we were expecting to see Captain Marvel. In one of the post-credit scenes from Avengers Infinity War, we saw Nick Fury use a pager-like device, which flashed with the insignia of Captain Marvel. Although Fury perished in the decimation, Captain Marvel got that message. We also see her piloting a ship filled with other characters, which could indicate that parts of the movie will take place on a planet other than Earth. Another hero who'll be swooping in to presumably save the day is Valkyrie. Although we didn't see her in Infinity War, the Russo brothers adamantly stated that she was still alive and had managed to escape being destroyed by Thanos. Recently, actress Tessa Thompson has confirmed that Valkyrie will indeed be back, and we even got to see some cool promo art of her character. Another character the Russo brothers made sure to keep us posted on is the Red Skull. He learned the hard way not to mess with the Infinity Stones during Captain America: The First Avenger. Tussling with the Space Stone got him banished to Vormir in order to guard the Soul Stone, but after Thanos claimed that stone by sacrificing Gamora, Red Skull's duty was finished. According to the Russo brothers, he's now free to pursue his own interests, and we're sure that doesn't mean anything good for our heroes. One fact you want to keep in mind when getting ready to see Endgame is the length of the movie. Infinity War had a lengthy runtime of 2 hours and 40 minutes. Endgame is going to have a runtime of over 3 hours, making it Marvel Studios' longest film yet. If Carol rented it on a VHS at Blockbuster, it'd take 2 whole VHS tapes to tell the story. While everyone has been affected by the events of the decimation, things look particularly grim for Rocket Raccoon and Nebula. Prior to Infinity War, Nebula's prime motivation was pretty much destroying Gamora and Thanos. Even at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, she had seemingly gotten over wanting to take down Gamora, and was just focused on Thanos. While the Guardians had 2 entire movies of them becoming close friends, Nebula was really an outsider, and it was hard to tell how close she felt to any of them. But in the latest trailer for Endgame, we saw Nebula sharing a surprisingly tender moment with Rocket. The two can be prickly even at their best moments, but it seems as though they're hurting over their losses. In the comic books, Nebula is also single-minded about taking down Thanos. This leads her to taking the Infinity Gauntlet and undoing the decimation. not out of a desire to save people, but in an effort to upset Thanos. We know the movies don't always follow the comic books, and we see this in Nebula, since her MCU version is different than her comic book counterpart. It seems as though she's less of a wild card and is interested in making connections in addition to exacting vengeance on Thanos. It's always good to be able to multitask. And as far as Thanos goes, at the end of Infinity War, he had lost his favorite child, Gamora, as well as the loyal members of his Black Order. Even though he ultimately got what he wanted, it was clear at the end of Infinity War that Thanos believed he had paid a high price for it. It cost him everything. In the comic books, Thanos retires on a farm following the decimation, and it seems as though this is also true in the MCU. However, our heroes seem eager to bring him out of retirement. In the latest trailer for Endgame, we saw the Mad Titan facing our heroes once again and taking delight in mocking them. One of the many rumors regarding Endgame is that the trailers will only be comprised of footage from the first 30 minutes or so of the movie. Based on the trailer, we definitely see Iron Man, Captain America, and a caped figure who definitely looks like Thor. However, many fans wonder if this could be a classic case of a Marvel Studios misdirection. Maybe the caped figure is actually Doctor Strange, who perished during Infinity War, but through some magic time travel or astral projection is back. Regardless of who's taken down Thanos, it seems like he's going to know what's going on relatively early in the movie. Our heroes have a chance to be proactive instead of reactive, and here's hoping they use it to their advantage. Although Scott Lang was conspicuously missing during Infinity War, we did see him in Ant-Man and the Wasp. During that movie, we learned Hank Pym had been on the run, and to help himself hide, he had perfected a laboratory capable of both shrinking and growing. To make moving it around even easier, he attached it to wheels and a handle kind of like a rolling suitcase. What can we say? Only a true genius of Hank Pym's caliber could think of something like that. During a trailer for Endgame, we saw Scott Lang seemingly aghast at a telephone pole covered with missing posters. It was easy to miss, but thanks to the Instagram image ratio, we could see what looks like a handle in Scott's hand during the scene. It looks like Scott has Hank's laboratory in his possession, which could be useful to say the least. Although Scott may have accused Hank of just putting the word quantum in front of everything, thankfully the fate of the world doesn't depend on his understanding of science. He clearly made his way to the Avengers compound so he could get Hank's technology into the hands of people who could understand it. We've also seen the remaining heroes wearing new costumes, which look remarkably similar to Scott Lang's Ant-Man costume. This could further indicate that our heroes have access to Hank Pym's technology and may have used it to create those new suits. The decimation was devastating, but it also happened quite some time ago. Let's take a moment to remember the fallen, and we mean that literally, since some of you might have forgotten who's still alive in the MCU. From the Guardians of the Galaxy and their allies, only Rocket and Nebula remain. Gamora was killed directly by Thanos, and Star-Lord, Groot, Drax the Destroyer, and Mantis all perished in the decimation. Thor's crew also fared pretty terribly. While we know the God of Thunder and Valkyrie are still alive, the same can't be said for Loki and Heimdall, who were killed at the beginning of Infinity War. Vision is another character who met his fate directly at the hands of Thanos. Meanwhile, Bucky Barnes, Sam Wilson, Wanda Maximoff, Peter Parker, and Doctor Strange all perished during the decimation. Black Panther was another victim of the decimation, and his sister Shuri is thought to be as well. The whereabouts of Nakia and W'Kabi are currently unknown. Although Scott Lang is alive and well, the same can't be said for his allies. Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne, and Hope Van Dyne were all victims of the decimation. Even S.H.I.E.L.D. employees Nick Fury and Maria Hill didn't survive the event either. On to some more cheerful news. Let's talk about who's left to keep fighting the good fight. We have besties Steve Rogers and Tony Stark, Thor, Natasha Romanoff, Rhodey, Rocket, Nebula, M'Baku, Okoye, Scott Lang, Carol Danvers, and Clint Barton. We last saw Clint being put on house arrest following Civil War, and he was missing from Infinity War. But now, he's back with the angst-ridden new look, and many comic book fans believe he'll be replacing the mantle Hawkeye with his Ronin persona. Some side characters have also survived, including Pepper Potts, Wong, and Happy Hogan. There are still a few whose fates are up in the air, including the Collector and Peter Parker's pals Ned and MJ. Another thing to keep in mind as we head into Avengers Endgame is that even watching the trailers on repeat can't truly prepare you for the movie. We know it breaks our hearts too, but Marvel Studios has a long history of misleading trailers, and they know what they need to do in order to keep us interested until the movie comes out. Just keep all of this info in mind. Try not to be fooled by any of the trailers, and enjoy the film. We're not shy about sharing our theories about Avengers Endgame, but we love to hear yours. Share your predictions for Endgame with us in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure to click on that subscribe button for the latest and greatest videos from CBR. You know what? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.